Yo, bloggers on now. It's your boy Farai. Tafari, not Tafari. That's gonna be part of my intro from now on. Welcome to Come True, the podcast. Thank you for coming through and expect to have a good time, man.
What's the word? What's the word? What's the word? Y'all already know what time it is. It's Mr. Luxurious himself. Podcasting live from the Virgin Islands this time. We're in a little different location. Man home, you know what I'm saying? We home this time around. Feel nice to be home. Had some family union going on this week. So dope things. But with us, we have a very, very, very special guest. Miss Kendra, give the people a little introduction of who you are.
Hey everybody, it's good to be here. My name is Kendra. I'm a 24-year-old entrepreneur, and I'm in the credit repair space and AI digital marketing space.
Doing big things, big important things, as a matter of fact. Big important things.
Hey, respect to that. But I don't know if y'all know, because I didn't. I only find out maybe Friday. But the Summer Olympics 2024 has officially started, and that opening ceremony, I don't know if y'all saw it, but Paris really made a great use of their infrastructure. I was going to say France. They made a great use of the infrastructure for that opening ceremony. It was long. 3 hours was that whole span of everything. But yeah, man, if y'all didn't know, now you know. Have y'all seen it? Have y'all watched anything?
So I watched the games, and big shout out to Max, repping Virgin Islands out of St. Thomas, you know what I'm saying? Big swimmer, doing things representing for the home team, you know what I'm saying? But I did watch, I know today I watched the Olympic basketball game, USA versus Serbia. Dope game. But like you, I didn't know exactly when it started. I actually realized it started because there's a little controversy surrounding the opening ceremony. With some certain things that happened, certain things that was displayed. I ain't want to get into it because that's a whole next topic we could part about. But yeah, I did see it. I did started catching some games. I have an app, so I've been watching. I watched a little bit of the volleyball today. Didn't really pay too much attention, but the basketball game definitely. How about you, Kendra?
So I just found out what handball is like different than how New York City is. By the way, I'm from New York. So like handball is hitting it on the wall, but they was hitting it in like soccer goals. So I watched it yesterday, I believe, and it was cool. Saw rugby and learned that that's more intense. Don't come for me than football, to be honest. You don't really got those protective gears and all that.
But nah,
My one thing with Olympics is, especially with basketball, what was the score in this last game that just passed?
110 to 86, I want to believe.
Okay, that's sounding a little better. But with the players we have on the team, we've been having some scary close games.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess that just speaks to how the competition has risen. Of course, I'm assuming US is that's the chip that you want to beat. That's everybody gunning hard. The competition is extra hard because you the one they want to come after. But some of them scores, winning by 1, winning by 2, have to get saved by LeBron. That's stressful to watch, man.
Yeah, I would know about even watching this game when they first started off. I was like, man, mean like how they said looking, but that man put it off, man. Durant is back. They start to pull together and they put out the dub, man. Deal up with Jokic and them.
Man, I gotta watch the highlights. But let's get to it. Miss Kendra, welcome. Thank you for being here. We appreciate you for coming.
Thank you.
First question is the impact of credit on your financial goals. How does having a good credit score benefit individuals when it comes to major financial decisions like buying a home or securing a loan?
Having a good credit score is like very important. So let's say you want to get a car, $30,000 car, and you have a 600 credit score and I have a 750. We both apply same term as the loan, right? And I could be paying less than you. You could be paying thousands of dollars, honestly, over the years, just because of the interest rates are different. but it's not just about the score. It's about your profile, how many accounts you have, and like a credit mix as well. So that's something else we're going to get into.
And okay. And then what are some ways in which a poor credit score can limit your financial opportunities?
It can limit it because you won't be able to get accepted into certain things because underwriters look at things specifically at detail. So they may not even approve you.
But I
go ahead, Farah.
I was going to say I kind of been on both sides of the spectrum with good credit score and fair, not too good credit score. My first time was when I was applying for auto loan. Actually, I had this medical bill from in the States when I was in Florida that I had just completely neglected and forgot about, really. And I guess the bills were still going to my old address, and I never forwarded it to my new. So I went to collections, but I didn't know that, nor did I check my score, because prior to that, my score was pretty damn fine, like in the 700s, low 700s. And when I went, they denied me outright. They say you have a collections claim. We're not fucking with that, really. So yeah, that was my experience with my score being on the bad side of things. So for those of you that do have a bad score and you're trying to go get that loan, just know you're likely to get denied, because who gonna trust you? That score tells you how well you do with other people's money. So
that's true. Yeah. Definitely, especially if you go to like car dealerships, they will pull your score so many times just because they want to sell, and it's going to be worse off. Like, let's say you had 550, you're going to be really down to like maybe mid 400s, honestly, after you come out there. I saw someone's report that had like 20 inquiries on different ones. I was like, whoa, and it's from that car dealership. So definitely happens. So stay safe out here.
Matter of fact, later on, we could give some tips for going and buy some cars from a car dealership, because I know me and you have had offline conversation. That's something you recently got done as well, correct?
Yes.
But even on top of that, like just like we're talking about applying for loans, but even applying for rent and stuff, like I know they had this big thing where they wanted 3 times the rent, and you have to have this credit score, or else you have to pay this big deposit. Like I tell people all the time, and I got it from my mentor, which is ignorance is expensive, yo. Like, I think when I was buying my house is when you really realize, like, them little small percentages, we talking about like 0.2, 0.3, 0.5. These things is tens of thousands of dollars extra you paying. And once you start to become a little bit financial literate, like you want to save this money, though you don't see it like in your everyday pocket, because it'll be like, okay, yeah, a little percentage might cost me $20,000. And you're not seeing it in your monthly check, so it's easy to brush off. But if you really think about it, like just you having a bad score and you're not paying things on time, really sit on here and cost you damn near a whole half a year worth of your pay at your job. Like, it's kind of insane, you know what I'm saying? So it's definitely something that people need to start taking more seriously. And even like you say, when you say that you didn't say no. That's the next thing we've learned. I'm sure we're getting to as well, which is also being aware and actually checking your credit score occasionally. That way, you up to date. Because hey, the scammer them about this is 2024. Like everybody try to make money. So you thinking shit cool? Johnny in Taiwan who done send you 40 emails, fraud emails. Johnny in Taiwan have your whole identity running amok. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get catch so many times. This is tough just checking my bank account. I get catch so many times with people just using my shit. Yo, I unlucky. That man just watch me and be like, yeah, man, that's the one there. Hold this man, you're missing. But it is what it is. Let's dive in a little bit more into the credit scores and reports, so that people could kind of have a baseline understanding of what they're looking at. Let's start off first with, can you explain the key factors that influence your credit score and then their relative importance?
So there are a lot of factors. Payment history is 35%, and it's the highest factor. So your credit score ranges from 300 to 850, and 35% of that is like 297 points roughly. So if you're missing some late payments, honestly, your score is not going to be more than like 557. So that's something you definitely need to work on. I know that is just something you need to work on, period. But also, there's stuff like payment age, which is 10%. Utilization is another percentage as well. So you definitely need to look at those things. And you can check on Credit Karma, and it shows you. It doesn't show you the accurate scores now, but it shows you like what you're missing and what is good and what is bad. So I definitely recommend it for that.
That's a good point, because though, and for those who haven't heard it, credit score is not the best place to check your scores. I think this is pretty common knowledge now. If you are somebody who's listening or watching and you did not know that, it's not that great, but it's a free, easy tool that you could get an app to as well. And like you said, be able to see some things on there, you know what I'm saying, and be able to have an idea of what's going on. And I think Credit Karma does a good job of sending out information that that could help you know how to build your score and certain things that we're going to talk about on the pod today. So it's not all bad that they don't report that accurately, because they still have some tools that you could utilize. If you're not in the credit game at all, you're not looking at all, I'm not going to tell you to not start there. At least start there, and then throughout this pod, if you're listening, and in the comment section, not the comment sections, in the descriptions, we'll give you some resources to get some accurate reports and be able to see what's going on your scores. But outside of that, you talked about credit utilization, and let's dive in a little bit more into that. I think for the people who are making the payments, because as we've established, having late payments is the most detrimental thing to your score. So if you're making good payments, you're doing good so far. And I think one of the next big conversation is really utilization. So can you go a little bit more into depth on how the utilization affects your scores, and then what is the optimal utilization rate, and what is utilization rate in general? What are we really referring to when we talk about utilization?
Utilization goes more into like credit cards, because there's different lines of credit and things like that. So when your credit card is being used, it shows how much you're using it. So let's say you have a $5,000 credit card and you're using $2,500 of that is 50%. So you definitely want to make sure that your utilization is lower than 30%. The best range, I would say, is 1 to 9%, because that doesn't allow your score to drop. But I have a hack for you guys that's listening right now, if you're still on here. So you can literally call your banking institution and find out what day is your due date and what's your reporting date. Those are usually 3 days apart, but you can definitely change that according to your financial, according to your financial situation of when you get paid. So let's say your reporting date is on the 16th. No, your due date is on the 16th and your reporting date is on the 19th. So if you want to max out your card, do not do it on the 16th. Just do it on the 20th, because it will report 0% utilization if you paid it completely off. And then on the 20th, you can max it out. So when it reports to the credit bureaus, it shows you have 0 utilization.
We're getting the tips in early. So for everybody who always wondered statement date, your due date and stuff, there is your answer. Call your bank. And it's under paperwork as well. But to be honest, I think calling the bank is easier, because you're reading that kind of paperwork, sometimes it get confusing. But if you want to take a shot, it will be on your statements. It does show up like wherever on the paper. I don't know exactly where. But since we're giving out tips, I give a next tip: how to hide utilization. Because I know a little thing myself, you know what I'm saying? So if you have the same bank, let's say you do all your banking with Bank of America, you have their checking account, and then you have their credit card, and all your money is going in, all your direct deposit from your job, whatever it is going to your Bank of America checking. If you know that statement date is coming up and you have a high utilization on your credit card, but you don't have to take care of no bills until after that statement date, just go ahead and transfer all the money from your checkings account onto that credit card. Let it report as $0 on that credit card. And once you're done, transfer the money right back to your Bank of America checkings account. Now, for that specific period, it reported that there was no money and you paid off your credit card, even though that's not actually what you did. You just high utilization so that your score wouldn't take a big hit, and then continue to pay down on your credit card so that you could continue to get to that low utilization. So another little pro tip that I've used several times.
Yeah.
Here's another pro tip.
Talk your shit far right. Go ahead.
Don't use your credit card if you can't pay it unless it's needed. Unless it's needed. Like if you have zero in your bank account in the next 2 weeks, you're also going to have zero in your bank account. Don't go maxing out your card on shit you don't need. If you need it, it's emergencies, patience. But don't go using your card if you can't pay what you're paying for with that card. Please, 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 please. Your credit card is not your money. It's not your money. It's borrowed money. So don't treat it like it's your money to just do your money shit with. Okay? Unless you have money to fill in those gaps. All right.
I agree with that.
I feel like we should have probably premised with that, you know what I'm saying? So we committed to these conversations. Because honestly, when we start talking about a lot of these like tips and hacks and stuff, I feel like it gets so exciting that people just want to go and do it. Like forgetting, like, bro, you still have to pay these people back. Like you have to pay back this money that you use in the same money from thin air, you know what I'm saying? But let's continue on. Are there any specific types of credit accounts or loans that are particularly beneficial or harmful to your credit score?
I would say the number one credit account that's harmful would be secured credit cards that don't turn unsecured. So secured credit cards are money that you put up front. So you're using your own money to get that line open. So let's say I put $2,000 down at Navy Federal. They're going to give me a $2,000 secured credit card. So if this Navy Federal does turn to unsecured, but that's just an example. But let's say this card doesn't turn unsecured at all. So in the future, when you start having a good credit score, when financial institutions look back at your report, they're going to see that it was a secured card, and that's just builder starter cards. So it's going to make it look like your account was weak and that you wasn't doing what you need to do from the jump. So definitely, I suggest going to Navy Federal if you have Navy Federal. Definitely get in there, and they have unsecured cards. I put my brother on game. At one point, he put $250 down, and he got it to $2,000, and then now his limit is like $3,500 now. So you don't need to put high limits in order to like get those increases, and you can definitely ask for it every 90 days.
Dope. Yeah, that last thing you said, very important. Y'all should be looking into your credit limits and getting those increased. Because for one, that allows your utilization rate to stretch a little bit. So let's say, for example, like you just started out and you only have a $500 limit. I mean, to stay under your 10%, like you could barely use any money. You know what I'm saying? You use $200, $250.
Right.
Nowadays, that's chump change. So you use that, you're already at 50%. So in order for you to be able to have an allowance, don't get me wrong, you should be paying it off before your statements. But this is real life, and sometimes you have to carry a balance. So in order to be able to not get hurt by carrying a balance, you want to be able to get these increases every 90 days. That way, you're getting more and more money, so you can stretch the gap. Next thing you know, you have $30,000, and $3,000 is keeping you within 10%. So definitely something that's very important. But since we're talking about putting people on and starting out, because we know secured cards is one of the things you might have to start out with, depending on where you're at. Let's say I'm a brand new person. I'm fresh in the game. I just started listening to the Come True podcast. This is probably the first episode I listened to. I haven't looked into my credit at all. What would be your advice for someone just starting out in their credit building journey?
Honestly, if you're just starting out, for example, when I was just starting out, I was 18 at Victoria's Secret, and you know how these stores be like, oh, you want a card to get 10% off? Honestly, I do not recommend any store cards unless you actually shop there. as often, So definitely don't be falling for those offers. I suggest you get banking institution credit cards and build those relationships. So I would start off by opening up a high yield savings account instead of checkings, because you can get those interests back and let your money work for you, and you're building those relationships. So definitely deposit in there consistently. Right. Then the next thing I want you to do is apply for a secured loan and or a secured credit card. So you put your money up there, but make sure the secured credit card becomes unsecured. Also, you can get rental karma if you've been paying your rent, or a roommate that has a house. You can definitely put them on as a landlord and they report your rent. That can also be backdated. I suggest rental karma, or what's the other one? Rental karma or rent reporters. I use both of them and they definitely can backdate it. I've seen it backdated like 10 years. I definitely tried that myself as well. Also, I would suggest getting like self-lender, Credit Strong as well. Those are savings accounts. So you're paying it monthly, but at the end, they take a percentage from you, but you can get that back in a check. So you're building your savings, and you're also building that credit history and on-time payments. So that's definitely somewhere to start.
I don't like how you just slip that in there. Like, so you mean to tell me that just for paying my rent on a month-to-month basis, something that I have to pay already, or else I won't have any place to live, I can actually get that reported to my credit score?
Yes.
That's crazy. Yeah, I think no excuse, people. The information is here. The information. Go ahead.
The landlord would be responsible for reporting that?
No, honestly, if you have a friend, right? What I suggest you do is get a piece of mail set there. Don't tell nobody I told you this, all right? But you can have someone that owns their house. They own a mortgage, they own a house, and they could be renting a room from you, right? You could be renting a room from them. That's what I meant to say. And they can be reporting that. Or you don't actually have to live there. But long as you have a piece of mail there, you can do that and say, oh, I lived there since I was 18 years old or longer time than that. So that just backdated your credit history a lot.
That's crazy. That's crazy. And just to be clear, we are not financial advisors.
Yes.
I tell you, my guy, clip this one and put it to the beginning.
For sure.
We're just people who have been in certain spaces and have done certain things and could help you out. So take this information and at your own risk and do as you please. Now, if you do want to get some business done and get some help, we'll get to that later on in the pod, how you can be able to do so and where you can reach out to. With that.
All right. So let's jump into the next one time for the one time. For people that's just irresponsible, that do treat the credit card like it's their cash, or life hits sometimes, you have to use your card, but you don't necessarily have the money to do so. A lot of people end up in situations where they have a ridiculous amount of debt, or their credit now took a hit because of the amount of utilization, maybe missed payments, things like that happen. So let's talk about debt management and credit repair. What are some of the common mistakes people make when trying to repair their credit?
The number one common mistake that I see, honestly, is not knowing how to read your profile. That's the first thing. You need to see what the errors are before you can go say, oh, I'm trying to fix my credit. Let's say you have an account on there and you have like 1 or 2 late payments. I suggest that be left on and you attack the late payments. Some people can literally go on there and dispute the entire account and it gets entirely removed and that dropped their score. Let's say it was like a student loan and you got 2 late payments on there, and that's your account when you're like 18 years old you get. So that could be your oldest account and you just erase the entire thing. And that's really bad because you have to start over. So that's number one. Number two, they don't know how to like write a credit repair letter or how to respond back to these credit bureaus or how to, once it becomes verified. These systems, these credit bureaus have, is called like the Oscar system. So sometimes people aren't looking at your report. They're just verifying it. But honestly, you got to keep disputing multiple times for it to come off.
And for those who don't know, for those who are a little bit familiar, we call those star letters, ladies and gentlemen. Where they just sending you things. Sometimes they're doing investigations on their end, maybe, but you gotta keep at it. You gotta keep at it. But like we said, ignorance is bliss. You gotta be able to know what you're getting yourself into as well. Just like she said, for some people, you don't even know that if you remove an account just because of 1 or 2 late payments, it might hurt you because age is a thing in your credit score. They want to see some kind of age and that you could manage money for a consistent amount of time. And for those new people that we talked about earlier, if you're wondering like why you're not getting these big credit cards out the gate, even though you don't have anything bad, it's because you're new. Just think about it. If you met a dude, he has no history of paying anybody back or anything. He don't have any history of really owing people, but it's a risk. Like if you think about it from their standpoint, it's a risk. We don't know you from no place, Panama. So can you expect us to just give you $20,000? Same thing where if you do have some accounts, it's like, okay, cool. You've been paying these $500 credit cards off, $2,000 credit cards off. Now you want $30,000. Panama, the only thing we've been able to see you handle is $500, $2,500. So like pump the brakes a little bit. Let's let you get some age under you, and then you could be able to go out there and get these bigger credit cards.
Can I add on to that?
Okay, I was going to add on to it. I'll add on after you.
All right. So to increase your age, let's say you've been building your credit report for 6 months, you can definitely get authorized user. That's piggybacking on people's report that has great history, and that just jumps your age. But that's not the only account you need on your report, because if someone has that on their report and they have bare bones, nothing else, you're still not going to get approved. So you need to have primary accounts, which is accounts you open. But if you want to get that age to get to like 5 years of history, you can definitely add some trade lines on there.
And then I was gonna, ladies and gentlemen,
I was going to double down with that. Your school loans. For a lot of people, like Kendra mentioned, that is the oldest loans for most individuals in their mid-20s, late 20s, younger. So a lot of people do experience like they are rushing to pay off these loans, rushing to get this loan paid off and everything. And at the end of it, they see that their credit score actually take a dip rather than increasing from paying it off as quick as possible. That's your oldest loan. Once that account is done, you're going to drop off some credit age, especially if you didn't have a lot of lines of credit, a bunch of credit cards, different things like that. So that's just something to keep in mind. It's no rush to pay off your loans. Nothing against just paying your minimums, because that's one of your oldest forms of credit, and you don't get any benefit from paying it off quicker, aside from not having a monthly payment. So just keep that in mind for those of you that do have a school loan and rushing to try to pay it off. There's no benefit to paying it off early.
Unless you're getting root and interest. If your interest is insane.
Unless you're getting root and interest, or unless your monthly payment's crazy. But if you're paying like 100, 200, 150, I mean,
yeah, man, just cool.
Just cool and pay. Get your money up so it don't affect you much. All right. So, but speaking on for people with bad credit, you mentioned dispute letters, things like that, doing it yourself. But can you discuss the role of credit repair companies and whether they are a good option for individuals struggling with bad credit?
Yeah, so what Webb said, you don't know what you don't know, definitely. So honestly, credit repair companies help guide you, like in order to get to the next level. Like if you want a car or a home, we don't just remove certain things off your report. We help you build and structure it out properly. If you need aid, we like really assess what you need. Let's say you have low age, but everything else is immaculate. I'll go ahead and get you some trade lines. But, you look at everybody's individual situation, and you assess those things and find a way to fix those things. But also I show you what not to do. Like what I said, don't go over here when your due date's the 16th and then you over here maxing out your card. That's something I've done before when I was younger and I didn't know anything about credit. So those are certain tricks that you can do to definitely get to the next level and get you to that dream credit score, dream house, dream situation.
And I want to add in one thing because there is a lot of people fixing credit now. It's a very good business. Everybody, especially now in this economy, everybody making mistakes with their credit, everybody getting in credit cards earlier and these kind of things. So a lot of people are getting into the credit repair space. I just want to give some advice for people that's looking for credit repair companies and people. And then I go rephrase that question again to highlight something that I've run into lately. But well, when Kendra said like you don't know what you don't know, like just apart from the fixing of the credit, there's so much other things to this game and this space that you going to somebody that to repair your credit, they may have this knowledge that could help you. We're talking about using your credit cards for manufacturer spending so you can start making money off your credit card. We're talking about being able to do travel hacking, so start getting some actual points and paying for travels, paying for different things with your credit cards. There's a lot of different things that you could get into within the credit space once you start developing good credit that some credit repair companies may not know. And when I say credit repair companies, I mean like individuals who send out letters or using Metro 2 compliance or whatever means they're using to fix your credit. So when you're going out there and looking for somebody, question them a little bit and see how much they know about these things and how much they could actually help you. You know what I'm saying? Some people don't know about referring like self to their clients and doing those kind of things. Some people don't even know about trade lines. Some people just repair credit, and that's no knock to them, you know what I'm saying? But if you really want to help yourself, do a little bit of research and look into things. But I want to rephrase the question as well because when we get into the questions of debt and stuff, there's a lot of these agencies that's going to tell you to do to take loans to pay off all your debt, pay off all your credit cards. What is it? What are them kind of companies called?
I believe those are debt consolidation companies.
Yes, debt consolidation companies. What's your thoughts on debt consolidation companies? Would you recommend going to them if you're in mountains? Because some people have $50,000 in credit card debt, and these people are gonna start calling you. They're gonna start to call you. They're gonna start to ring down your phone because the bank's selling your information to them. What are your thoughts on going through these companies to be able to pay down some of these debts? Do you recommend it? When would you recommend it? What if you know anything about that?
So I haven't tried that myself, honestly. But like if you are in that type of situation, those consolidation companies do help you. It's not deferring your payments at all, though. It's just literally you're getting money from them after you apply. Let's say I'm up asking for 20,000 because I got 20,000 in credit card debt. I go get that and then I pay off my credit cards. After you pay off your credit cards, that's 0% 0% utilization right there, but that's going to transfer over to a $20,000 loan, and you definitely got to pay that. And usually these debt consolidation companies get their money, from what I'm hearing, is by charging high interest rate. So maybe more than what your credit card was worth. It does benefit you on the credit card side in regards to applying for things, but you still have to pay attention to your debt to income ratio, which is how much debt you're taking on comparing to how much you make.
It makes sense. So just do your research, people. Don't just fall for anything. Usually I like to tell people, like, if they're reaching out to you, sometimes it's not really the best option. They're trying to get you. So just go ahead and do a little bit of research, you know what I'm saying? Do a little bit of research before. And as I've seen in the media lately, these scammers, talk about them, all of the scammers are getting real creative, people, real creative in their phishing emails. So just don't take anything lightheartedly and really do some research before you apply for certain things, before you click on certain links and emails. Like, do some background research, because it's really, really easy nowadays to be able to get yourself caught, especially when you're vulnerable and in a position where you're just reaching out for help. So the first thing that you see that sounds like some too good to be true opportunity, you're ready to jump on it. But we already know things that's too good to be true is usually too good to be true. You know what I'm saying? Like, usually not true.
And,
So
I'm going
Go
to say
ahead.
outside a debt consolidation company, if you do want to consolidate, and I guess I'll also ask you the question after, um, if you do want to consolidate, I'd suggest potentially a credit union or something to get a personal loan from a credit union to pay off your credit cards and things like that. And then you consolidate under that one loan, and now you're paying the credit union. Usually, those interest rates are much lower than a credit card would be, and you now working with the credit union to pay off that loan that you took for it. Obviously, don't go maxing out your cards again. Now you have that full credit union amount that you just consolidated, plus you're right back to square one with your credit cards. Obviously, it requires some level of discipline and restraint, but that's one good option. And I guess the question for you was, how can people effectively manage and pay down their debt without impacting their credit scores? What's some
I would
tips,
say
some different strategies?
I would definitely say you should definitely be financially responsible. So every time you're getting paid, if it's 2 weeks or every week that you get paid, at least put something down to your credit cards. Don't just pay it down, then go max it out again. Like Fari was just saying, yeah, definitely continue to pay it down as you go. And if you gotta pay down more, you just have to do it. It's going to benefit you in the long run.
And I think that's the hardest things with these situations is like you don't feel the effects right away. Sometimes the effects they kind of be like a behind the scene effect. So you don't feel it until you actually need to go do something like with your credit, or you don't even see the interest rate being eaten away. But ladies and gentlemen, I challenge you out to really just dive into your finance a little bit. And this is me coming from me who the make mistakes, know some of the information, and still makes mistakes sometimes. So I'm not void of it neither. But I will tell you this: I save a lot of money starting to learn about these things, and I've made a lot of money learning about these things in terms of like credit card rewards and these kind of different things that you could be able to get into. So, and for those who are scared to go to credit repair companies because they feel like it's a scam, when I first bought my house, shout out to Jade from the VI, she raised my credit score 82 points in maybe like a month before I went to buy my house, and that's what kind of catapulted me into actually looking into a lot of these things and start on this journey of learning how to just becoming more financial literate, because I didn't know you could even do things like that. Like 82 points jump, that shit sound insane to a lot of people listening right now. But like that's realistic results depending on what you have, like Kendra said, knowing
Right.
the fact that these people know what you have in your credit report, they know what's going to affect you the most. She got me signed up with Self. I still have that Self card to this day because I converted to a credit card afterwards just to raise my utilization a little bit. But just the fact that she had this kind of information to then bestow upon me, and as well me being able to help so many other people get out of positions or get credit cards or apply for certain things. You know what I'm saying? So just go out there, learn a little bit, and pass this information down to your kids. I know y'all want to complain and say, yo, the school gotta teach the children this and the school gotta teach our children this. If the school ain't teaching them, eventually we gotta take accountability and learn these things for ourselves. One, because half of us don't know this kind of information. And then two, take the information and pass it down to our children. And another
I
pro
definitely
tip,
agree with that.
you could put your kids, I don't know the age. I don't know if you know the age off the top of your head, Kendra, but you could put your kids on your credit cards as authorized users like Kendra was talking about before. So that by the time your kid get to a certain point in their life where they're actually making money, they already have a little bit of an established credit score and stuff. Like these are the ways that we have to set up our future generations and our children to be able to see success and instill in them these practices, instilling them like, hey, pay off your credit card before the due date and these kind of things, so that it becomes habit by the time they older, so that it's more reflex and not something strenuous. And when the life pressures come on them, they have these things ingrained in them.
That's definitely true. Different banks have different age ranges, but I believe it's between like 3 and 5, or when they're newborn. It's around that age, but definitely you could
Oh, that's
call your
crazy.
banking institution and literally get them put on as authorized users. But also, don't just use your credit card for miscellaneous things, just use it for the bills you gotta pay monthly. There's
Oh,
literally
yeah,
a
that's
credit
simple. Yeah.
card. There's literally a credit card called Bill, and it helps you pay your rent. That's like one of the only credit cards that help you pay your rent. But also, definitely use it to pay your phone bill and multiple things like that. So it's something you're already going to be spending out of pocket. So it's just, you're going to have to pay your bills. Might as well use your credit card because you're getting interest. You're getting cash back and you're getting points just for doing that. Money you was going to spend already.
Yeah, I'll give an example. One of my cards, my Vantage West cards, it has revolving 5 times rewards on certain categories. One of those categories is utilities. You know what I'm saying? So even if you don't want to spend money on that specific card, you could just put all your utilities on that card. Make sure the 5 times points is on that category, and that card is literally just to pay your bills, and you're racking up points just by paying your bills. So that's definitely. But you speak to something again. I want to swing it back. So you're telling me there's a credit card out here that you could pay your rent on?
Yes, it's called Bilt.
And,
BILT.
and that's from
Bill.
Wells Fargo, I believe. I think that's a Wells Fargo's card.
I'm not sure what bank
I want,
supports them, to be
yeah,
honest.
I want to believe, and I do want to spend much of something Tafari said as well. Credit unions, ladies and gentlemen, and Navy Fed. For those who don't know, because Kendra bigged up Navy Fed earlier, it's a credit union as well. And credit unions usually showing love. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think part of that is because credit unions are not for profit, like a J.P. Morgan, Chase, and those other big banks. Those banks are more for profit credit unions, and that's not me saying they don't make money. Come on, let's use our brains, guys, and become financially literate. It's a, it's like a nonprofit. Like people think nonprofit means that they're not making no money. They are making money technically, but just in a different way, not off of shareholders putting in money and overcharging the shit out of people. So that's generally why you could see better rates at these credit unions, and you could if you build good relationships with the credit unions, they'll shell out. Like Navy Fed, that man, they shell out. You get some nice high limits, and they don't show love. Even with no credit history, that man will bless you a little 5,000 off the rip sometimes, especially if you're in the military. Them and USA is pretty good as well for those who are in the military. Take advantage of those banks.
Yeah,
I still trying to find my
you're
way
right about
in.
that. You're right about the Navy Federal, because I actually ran the play. I applied for a $60,000 car loan recently, man. I tell you, I just applied that high because I didn't think they would give me that much. But honestly, they gave me that full $60K to get a brand new car, and I ran it up for sure.
What kind of car you bought?
I got me a Tesla Model 3, and it is my dream car, and I love it.
Dream car. At what age? At what age?
Got it at 23. I got it like 7 months ago.
My girl doing her thing, man. My girl doing
Yeah,
her
it is my
thing.
first car. So Navy Federal, like even if people say, oh, bank's not going to give you high limit, you got to start off with small car loans, and then you elevate. But honestly, Navy, that's the way to go.
Facts. I want to shift gears a little bit. Unless anybody have anything more to add on or want to give us some more tips over the case may be.
No,
We
no.
good?
Mm-mm.
Keep moving forward,
Yeah.
man.
I want to shift gears. Kendra, we've known each other for quite some time now. We actually met each other through a 5-day challenge. For those who know, this is how I know Kendra. We did a 5-day challenge with George and Carter. This Carter's a tax professional. George is one financial advisor, and Dion is a credit guru that uses Metro 2 to do credit repair. So they had a 5-day challenge, and I paid like maybe $200-$400, whatever it was, to get into this challenge, to seek some mentorship and learn some new information in the financial space. And I guess to track into the groups and stuff, I end up meeting Kendra. I think from there we end up linking up at Invest Fest. For those who don't know, Invest Fest is hosted by Earn Your Leisure, probably the number one Black financial literacy space in America or in the world, I would say right now, if we're being honest. They host Invest Fest with a whole bunch of different speakers, different vendors and stuff, dope information. You could find so much mentors. But I want to get into to mentorship, because that's what kind of led us, seeking mentorship is kind of what led us to meeting each other. And we've known each other for some while now. In your personal experience, how would you say mentorship could influence your personal development and help in setting and achieving life goals?
So, mentorship is definitely amazing. During entrepreneurship, it could be very lonely. You have friends and family telling you can't do it until you turn around and show them. That's like number one. Two, mentorship helps you with your mindset. Like, I've been in a lot of programs and they start with mindset. When I was first starting out, I was like, nah, I don't want to do this. Let's get to what we actually got to do. But that's like the number one thing that can deter you. You need to get out your own way and keep moving. And the peers being there as well, you can ask people that's on the same journey as you and the mentors, what have they done, and just help you get unstuck. But definitely networking as well. That's how I met Webb right here. And we've been locked in ever since. I consider him a mentor as well. He definitely pushes me. So it can really just get you in new opportunities and just expand what you see outside of your everyday life.
Farah, you have any experience with any mentors?
So, I mean, I guess we never officially used the term mentor or actually requested mentorship, but I guess I do have a few experiences with individuals who I look up to and seek knowledge from, especially I work as a mechanical engineer, more so in the civil engineering space. And just some of my higher ups, my seniors and individuals I've met throughout other firms, companies that just I kept in contact with. Anytime I need a questions asked, if I don't know any specific information, they're always there, ready to give out information, ready to teach whenever when I don't have that information myself. So that's been my space. I've never actively seeked a mentor in like a direct approach, but I would consider a few individuals I've met mentors in my life.
Yeah, same here.
Also,
go ahead,
go
Kendra.
ahead.
No, go ahead.
Also, I would say like something I used to do in the past, you just listen to family members and people that don't have the results that you want to have, honestly. And I learned that you're supposed to listen to the people ahead of you that got everything you want and literally go follow them. Success has receipts.
Ooh, that's a bar.
That's a bar.
Success has receipts. That's a bar. I think same for me. I've had quite a few mentors now. Some like Tafari, I said that I didn't even seek out, and some that I've actually paid for. I put a lot of money up towards mentorship. You know what I'm saying? And I would say it's like a cheat code. It's like a cheat code. Like everything you think, because sometimes I think we think ourselves out of a lot of situations. We overthink it because you don't, like we said it earlier, you don't know what you don't know. You know what I'm saying? So just to be able to have somebody in your corner who does know and can say, hey, don't even go do this because you're going to waste 3 months when you could take this route right here, is a very, very powerful tool. And I think that people discredit paying for mentorship because everybody wants the immediate, I get the money in and I just get the money right back. But let me tell you something, paying for information is one of the most powerful things you could do. Like, I know it is inflated when they talk about like, hey, let me put $500,000 for a conversation with Jay-Z or the 500,000. No, if you're not a billionaire, maybe that don't make no sense to you because it's $500,000. But we're talking about like a man who is a millionaire will give you information for $1,000, and you sitting on here making $20,000-$30,000. That's a no-brainer for people who are really trying to get where they want to go, because if this person is a good mentor and you push yourself, because you have to be a good mentee as well. I guess we can
Mm-hmm.
get into that in the lesson as well. It's a lesson with the pad. I kind of skipping ahead, but once you're a good mentee and you have a good mentor, they're gonna help you skip so much steps and make so much of that $1,000 back. Like for example, that same mentorship that me and Kendra in, I was one that invested in them. And I won't say how much I paid. I've said it before in the pod, but I don't want to really get into finances too much. But I will let you know that just me paying for the mentorship ended up being a tax write-off. So technically, I made all the money back already, because I would have paid all that money to the IRS anyhow, because I was a 1099 employee. I was a contractor. So I was able to write it off on my taxes. But in the same sense, me paying the initial, whether it was $200 to $400 to even get in the room for the 5-day challenge, allowed me to learn that that was even an option. If I never got in that room, unless I was really going out to search and really going hard, I would have never known that if you have a business, you can write off education and stuff as a business expense. And that's a pro tip. And this goes into the regular sectors as well, not just entrepreneurship. Because like Far Right shared, like his mentors were available for him to ask questions, and especially if they are up in the ranks. It's like, for example, if you want to become a senator, who better to mentor you than a senator? If you want to become the head of your company, who is better to mentor you than somebody that's a head of a company? The books can only teach you so much. You know what I'm saying? The books can only teach you so much. But if you have a name, let's shout out somebody. If you have a name of one of your most influential mentors and any key lessons that they shared to help you impart in your professional or entrepreneurial journey.
Okay, so I'm gonna shout out 2 people in the credit repair space, right? And that's Ellie Talks Money. She shows you how to literally start with business credit and without using your social security number. You use your EIN number. But after I learned from Ellie, I found out about Mr. Credit Yourself on Instagram as well. His name is Bobby Richardson, and he brings other people on his platform as well. But he shows you business credit, personal credit, and brings people on in the travel hacking industry as well. So that's something I never knew about a few years ago. But it sounds impossible, but I tell you, it definitely works.
All right, next. Big shout out to Justin, man. Justin, my old sales manager. I don't no longer work at that job anymore, but Justin challenged me like nobody really challenged me. You know what I'm saying? Like I was always on my ass and always imparting knowledge and showing me like how serious you have to be if you want to make it, like just pushing forward or pushing the envelope. And then one of the things that I've used this quote so much in the last like 2-3 weeks with talking to other individuals was version 1 is better than version none. That's probably the most impactful thing I think he has imparted on me when he said, I don't know if that was his personal quote, if you get it from someplace else, but that quote stuck with me and I could never forget that quote. Version 1 is better than version none. And what he meant like that is like, we overthink before we put things out all the time, trying to make it perfect. And sometimes you put it out and they don't even do what you thought it was going to do, or don't even work out the way you thought it was going to work out. So he's always said like, listen, just get to version 1, put it out, fail fast, and just move on to version 2. And you're going to learn much quicker and you can get much more results by taking that approach on. Version 1 is better than version none. Just put something out, learn from, and adjust as you go to make a good product. If I write Japan name, you get one?
I guess yeah, man. I would like to shout out Preston. He's the current director of engineering for the Port Authority. He's been on board not too long, going on 3 years now. And yeah, when I first came to the port, I kind of got thrown in on the deep end of the pool straight out of school, having to manage some pretty large scale projects, $20+ million. And he really helped me to, for one, unlearn a lot of bad habits that I did learn throughout that process, and just really fine tuning myself to become the project manager now, a new position, project manager that I am now. So shout out to Preston.
Bet. I'm gonna shift gears a little bit. I want to talk about the impact of being a mentor. I don't know if you guys had the experience of being in a mentorship role in any capacity. You don't have to be like somebody who was paying you, or just somebody just came to you and talked to you, and you just have to give them some advice that help them. We start with you, Kendra. How has mentoring others influenced your growth and perspective, if you was given the opportunity?
So I feel like I do mentor other people when we're having a conversation, even if they're mentoring me, I feel like we both learn from each other because I work or seek mentorship from other businesses, but like for example, graphic design or photography, and literally they don't know anything about creating a business and they making thousands of dollars. They don't know how to like leverage their credit or learn how to get that because some of these businesses are service based and they didn't really need that much starting up. But just having a regular conversation with them, just telling them what I do, they like say, yes, I need that. So I definitely be dropping game like I am doing now. And for example, I have a photographer. He showed me how to like use my camera and lighting. And I'm also about to show him how to use DM automation, such as ManyChat, to automate his influx of clients coming through his Instagram DM. And he finds that very valuable, where I don't even have to pay him anything right now. We literally just exchanging value. And I find that very impactful.
That's networking, people. That's how we're supposed to work.
I guess for me, my experiences. My I thought I was muted. Sorry. I was gonna say, I guess for me, my experiences with mentorship, it's for one, I was in a mentorship program while I was in the University of Florida with just some younger students, freshmen. When I was called myself a super senior because I was in school for 6 years. God damn. But yeah. So I guess one benefit or something that I learned throughout that process is you really get to learn from feeding off of the advice that you give to other people. Sometimes you don't even realize that there's things that you needed to hear yourself, maybe issues you even had, and you didn't realize it was a problem until those questions come forward to you, and then you kind of have to answer it for someone else. So that's been where I've seen a lot of benefits when it came to mentoring other people. You get to learn things about yourself that you didn't realize was even there.
That's powerful. Yeah, that's powerful. I like, I agree with that. In my experiences and the people that I've mentored, I think that is one of the things, like you put a mirror up because somebody actually, to a certain extent, looking at you like, yo, you supposed to have the answer. So sometimes you catch yourself like, bro, I gotta step my shit up. Like, gotta get my things together. And then one thing
Right.
that you talked about as well, I think, I don't remember which one of my mentors told me this or if I heard it on the internet, but sometimes the best way to learn is to teach. Like, because it forces you to learn the information a lot better to be able to then pass the information on to somebody else, especially if you're trying to mentor somebody and they're not really receptive to the information in one way. Now you have to sit here and learn how you could then adapt and transfer that information in a different way. I want to give a shout out to Kefren. So me and Kefren have a lot of back and forth, and Kefren actually helped me to be able to understand and be a much better listener, because he did some coaching programs. I'm following a little bit in the same footsteps to a certain extent. He's ahead of me in that regard, and just the way he goes about certain things and certain things that he has taught me just allowed me to listen a little bit better and to be able to tailor like the information that I'm giving out to people to help them get to that next step. Because sometimes the way you learn is not the way your mentee is going to learn all the time. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be able to package that, whatever it is that you're trying to get, and package it in a way that's for them to be received. But to be able to do that, you have to really be a good listener and really understand the person that you're dealing with and what's their strengths, what's their weaknesses, and then being able to help coach them into being into where they want to go. Not necessarily where you want to go, but where they want to go. But I think that's the biggest thing. And my next question was going to be what do you learn from your mentees and how does this reciprocal relationship benefits you? But I think Kendra answered that in her regard, where she was able to then exchange goods with that one person. And the same for me. Like a lot of the times, the people I'm mentoring, like I was in a position to make money with them. Like they always look back to me like, "Yo, Weber's a dude that he could grind and he doing this. We could go back to him." And then for people that I mentor is the same thing. Like a lot of the times the people you're mentoring, and this gonna sound messed up, but when you're in the entrepreneurial space, this is how it works realistically. Sometimes the people you mentor gonna be some of your first people that's working within your company, or the next person that you hire under your coaching program to coach others, because they've been through all their testimonials who could bring people to you. Now they making money from referrals, or whatever the case may be, on top of the fact that you were able to help them to get to a certain point in which they were trying to get to in their life. You know what I'm saying? So it's definitely a lot you could gain from that relationship.
Love it. 1,000,000%.
Yeah, shout out to
All
Kendra
right,
too.
let's switch gears a little bit.
I ain't
Um,
Kendra ask all the time.
What'd you say?
Now I said I always gotta be on your ass, and
What'd you say?
you'd help me boost up myself as well.
Yeah.
It helps
Definitely.
to keep you accountable. That's
I
accountability
need
is super
to
powerful.
I need to get my charger. 1 second is over here, so this don't die on me. 1 second.
You're
No
good. You're good.
problem.
You're good.
We cut this up. Yeah,
How about to say
you
my
can just keep it
connection?
rolling,
My
man.
connection straight.
Yeah. You had one weird glitch looking vibe, but I'm sure it was captured.
I might
It wasn't too
be
long.
delayed. I might be delayed.
That's a possibility, but that's not difficult to correct.
All right, so you
All
jump
right,
I'm back.
into
Yeah.
you good? You good?
bet.
Yeah.
All right, so let's switch gears a little bit, talking about growth in your careers through certifications, different certifications, trade skills. So can you share examples of how obtaining specific certifications or trade skills has helped individuals advance their careers?
Before you go,
So definitely. Oh, okay.
I want to say something. Kendra have a heap of things going on. Like Kendra is the real deal jack of all trades. Let me tell her something. She knows to do a
Oh my
lot, a
gosh.
lot, a lot of things, and I commend you for that. But go ahead. And throughout this, I want you to share some of the stuff. Please share some of the different things that you're doing, so that people can know why you are able to speak on the different skills and the different certifications. Like, just share some of the stuff that you have done in your time.
Yeah, I got a whole bunch of certifications down from Ocean 30 to like everything. Everything. I tried a lot of different things, and I feel like I always knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur though. Like it first started when I was in high school and I joined or learned about nonprofit organizations. There was one specifically, Build NYC, and I'm still on their website because I won multiple of the grant opportunities and selling competitions. I had a clothing business called Glow Up, but now I have a business called Glow Up Enterprises because I incorporated it. So it's a LLC now, and I teach credit repair. I do credit repair, and I also do AI marketing. So that's something I learned as well recently. AI, artificial intelligence, is something that's going wild right now. Is very trending. I just saw a ad for Google Gemini and how they pin it on different softwares, but there's so many things you can do with like certification. Just heading back to that way, you can definitely just learn new skills. You don't have to go to college to do these things, and it's like free opportunities at nonprofits that you can literally just go search, dive into, and they can help you move forward, meet new people, get internships and new like just mindset on many different things. So I've done a lot, but now I'm sticking to what I'm doing now.
All right. And then there, outside of entrepreneurship and being an entrepreneur doing things on your own, I'd also say that having different certifications and actual pieces of paper showing that you advance your skill sets within the industry that you're in could also get you a pay raise. Sometimes some pretty hefty pay raises for maybe what 20, 40, 60 hours worth of work to get a certification. I know teachers, the more certifications you have, especially in the VI, you could increase your pay like that. So outside of being an entrepreneur, there's also opportunities for more pay and even potentially getting promoted with certifications. I had met at the University of Florida. I remember we were speaking to one of our advisors. She was the director of undergraduate research, and she was really close with the Virgin Islands group because you have partnered with the University of Virgin Islands for a dual degree program. And some of them were just talking about how they want to go for their master's in this, master's in that, doctorate in this, doctorate in that, potentially go back for the master's in business. And she just sat there and she was like, she doesn't know what's the craze about us young people wanting so much degrees, because after you get one, just go do certifications and it would hold in just as much merit as much of those other master's degrees and other things like that. Just get more certifications as much as you can. You don't need to go back to school for 4 years, 2 years, 6 years, whatever you're trying to do. Just go get certifications. That was her advice on that.
And it's less money too, but also
Hey.
also like going back to it though, like you starting your own business, you have to wear different hats. You have to be a solopreneur, right, honestly, because you don't got time to be, well, you don't got the money usually, paying other people to do things for you. So it's definitely good to develop your skills in multiple different things. You got to be a content creator. You got to put up your website if you're not willing to pay for that, So that's why I feel like it definitely benefit me in many ways. And you can also offer those services to people that's needed.
So what are some certifications or trade skills that you would consider to be highly valuable in today's market?
I would say definitely AI. Definitely. There's ChatGPT, where it can be a writing assistant for you. You can ask it many different questions, use it for content creation, things like that. Webb showed me some things with ChatGPT when I was first starting off with it, so probably ask him as well. But also, like Hey Jen, for example, I could literally record myself speaking right now and then type anything in, and I won't have to say it out my mouth again at all. So that's something really cool. There's like different things where AI bot can literally call thousands of people at one time just to speak with you. So AI is definitely something that big corporations are invested in, and I feel like it helps you save time and 10x your profits, honestly, because you don't need to hire for all these different things. It just helps speed up that. Also, I would say videography and photography is definitely another skill set. I have it under my belt, and I think is much needed, especially if you want to go into like the marketing space or content creation space. It's good to have for yourself and to offer to other people, because a lot of people have their phones in their hands. So, you got to be able to reach those target audiences and just help people create impact. So that's something else I agree with having.
I'm also a photographer, by the way. I do that on the side.
I need to see your work for
off
real.
Hours. All right, I'll send my info or have Webb send it. Yeah.
I agree.
So
I think
moving in.
I,
What are you saying, Web?
I think anything tech related, just in general, like certifications is like extra money. Everybody wants to know like the secret hack to go start making more money once you already leave school. Instead of spending $1,500 or $1,000 to go on a vacation, bro, you could literally go find so much certifications for cheaper than that, a few multiple, tack on to your experience that you have already, and be able to look so much better in a job application to break into some of these career fields, or like you were saying, all right, command more money in the space that you're already in. But see, we so infatuated with the school system and paying $40,000 for something. Somebody, let's say for in a tech boot camp, going to be able to learn for 10,000 or 3,000 sometimes. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's important to tack these things on in order, and to learn the actual skill. Like if you're in social media right now, you have so much social media certifications you get for free right now. And if you could be able to just be a good personality and that man fuck with you and you have the certification, they'll give you a job. Straight up. I see it all the time, you know what I'm saying? So I think that's one of the biggest things. You get certifications in to be able to progress.
And then the best thing about certifications is it's specific to that specific thing. It's no broad learning anything else. You're specifically learning what you need to learn for that certification. And it might be a specific skill set that you need for whatever you're doing. So it really helps to narrow down exactly what you need to learn. So speaking on these skill sets, they have so much certification, so much different opportunities to learn new skills out there. So how can a person identify which skills or certifications are worth investing in for their personal and professional growth?
I would definitely start at what your interests are or skills, something you really want to learn that you feel you're passionate about, that you could talk about all day. I could talk about credit repair all day. So it's got to be something you really are dedicated to. That's one. Definitely look at the trends and what's going on. Because, for example, AI is definitely a big industry right now. And you could also Google search that as well to see like how much that industry will be worth in the next few coming years. But also I would look into people that are top earners in the industry and definitely look at their receipts. Definitely look at who they taught, look at reviews, just everything. So you don't be scammed out here. I used to be one of those people that like look online, and I used to think everything was a scam. Down to Bitcoin, I used to think everything was a scam. Seriously, now I'm tapped into that. Investing in yourself for sure. So you definitely want to like look at this and look at their reviews and things like that, and double check that before you even dive into it. Look at their follow count, how many likes they got, how many people tag them, things like that. See what people are talking about them. And then I would suggest, going to invest in those different type of mentorships or programs. But YouTube University is there as well if you don't have it, or even free things. I'm pretty sure Google I believe they still do. Like there's Google certifications they offer online and in person. Facebook has certifications. Like there's different things. You can go on. Gumroad has courses for low, like free. People be giving out free fees on there, $5, things like that. So there's definitely options. I don't say just sit around and be like, hey, I want to become this. You got to definitely do the work towards that and do some research. But mentorship and courses is a faster way to go. So you can save time, because I see like on YouTube, a lot of people don't give out all the information because they want you to invest into things. So like to skip the line, you can definitely invest in courses and things like that.
And yeah, I heard it here, man. It starts with you. Knowing your interests is extremely important. Knowing where you want to go, what you want to do is extremely important. And shoot, if you don't know what you want to do, some of these courses, like Kendra said, are cheap. I know Udemy is the next place that offers a lot of courses. They often have some crazy sales. You could get $75 courses, $100 courses for $14 when these sales go on. They do it periodically. So even if you don't know what you want to do, just go out and start paying for stuff and doing it. invest in
Facts.
yourself. It don't have to be monetarily. You could invest in yourself just by utilizing time to do something constructive outside of chilling. Like Kendra
Mm-hmm.
mentioned, YouTube has a lot of information. Whatever you want to learn is YouTube is there. The only thing is, oftentimes there's just a lot of damn information, and sometimes it can get overwhelming. So that's where these courses could really help narrow things down and get to that a lot quicker. It just usually it requires some form of payment. Um, but like we said again, oftentimes it's not that expensive, and sometimes it's affordable just with some saving. So, but it does take that time to invest in yourself. And I know oftentimes we don't want to invest in ourselves. We're willing to go buy food, willing to do all types of different shit, go on vacations, pay $3,000, $4,000 for a trip, when really and truly these things not that expensive, and all it takes is us to be intentional about it. So that's my
Yeah,
piece.
yeah, I completely agree, man. And with everything y'all said, it didn't make no sense for me to beat the dead horse. You know what I'm saying? Like, go out there, invest in some skills. Once you get these skills and certifications, creatively use them in your resume and go and apply. Get you some experience, or you could even get some of these skills, go on Fiverr, offer services. If you know there's a service missing in your area, boom, easy certification to go look into to then offer that in your area. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a easy kill. Or if you know a job position, you could look up these job positions. If you see it requiring certain skills, okay, boom, go try get the certifications. Maybe it might say, hey, you need this degree. But if they might know you have the certifications, you have 5-6 years experience in the field, they might look and say, you know what, hey, first of all, it's an internal hire. You're already in here. You have the certifications, and we know the job. Hey, let me just slide you this bone and put you in the position. Like, half of the time we limit it to ourselves. You know what I'm saying? I'd apply when I was applying for jobs, at least I was applying for everything. Like, I went out here, I got a Scrum Alliance certification that qualified me for jobs over 100,000 just off that one certification. So like, and that just threw a partner telling me about it and me looking at jobs that required it. I put myself in the job field for those jobs. Then I started applying for ones where I had some kind of experience in. I got 6 more in the marketing certifications and counting. And I just going back to school to enhance those certifications. So that's an easy kill too. If you have a degree in marketing, okay, go get all the marketing certifications. It's a no-brainer. So you look like the most qualified person.
Mm-hmm.
But in closing, well, before we close, we got some stuff before we close, but I want to give you the floor, Kendra. If you have anything, any more pro tips, anything you want to highlight or anything you want to say to the Come True listeners, as you are our guest slash expert today.
I just want to say to anybody that's scared or just starting that the information is out there and it's not impossible. Like, I used to have horrible credit and I never believed that it could work until I saw that 100-point increase, like Web's saying, you know? So definitely open your mind and just fail faster, like he was saying as well. Definitely take those steps, because that's the hardest thing to do. And surround yourself with people that's going to push you, like Web is doing with me right now. Definitely someone that's going to push you, and, you know, audit your circle. That's something I heard from a mentor as well. Definitely look the people that's around you and who's going to help motivate you, inspire you, and make you want to go harder. That's it. That's all I got to say.
Respect.
For those who didn't realize, we don't have our other host, partner in crime, Brian, Mr. P, here with us today. Mr. P went and did some weird extra curricular activities, and then my boy ended up in the hospital. Then he come out the hospital. The man said they ain't done with him yet. My boy gets sick. So I keep my boy in the prayers, man. He's straight. He just going through it right now. Keep my boys in his prayers. He definitely gonna be back for the next episode, hopefully. So if you're wondering why why Peter ain't here today. That is why, man. My boy out sick today. But regardless, we hold it down. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
Man, the truth is, he tried cook and give himself food poisoning because it was that trash. So ain't nothing too crazy, guys. Just we made it sound a little more serious than it was. Obviously, it's serious, but our boy is okay. He just need to work on them cooking skills. All right.
Facts. But before we dip off, Kendra, we like to do something at the end of our episodes, and we give gratitude every week for something. It could be anything, small, big, God, whatever it is you want to do. We just give gratitude for something for the week. So if you want to kick us off with something that you're thankful for this week.
I'm going to say I'm thankful for you because over the past few days or weeks, you've been pushing me to like make content, dial in my space and like just get to it. And I really appreciate you like holding me accountable in that way because a lot of times I like do things behind the scenes and I don't really, put it out there of what I'm doing and things like that. So I really appreciate that as well. And allowing me to be on this platform. And it was nice meeting you as well.
Aww. I go next, man.
You get that? Oh, okay.
I gonna give gratitude for one. I'm gonna give two. For one, for Kendra for giving gratitude to me, man. It's always a good feeling when your efforts are being recognized and people appreciate that the work you're doing. And I have a lot to appreciate about Kendra as well, you know what I'm saying, in my growth. And I know I haven't tapped into it yet, but there's a lot of stuff that I want to learn from you to be able to implement in some of the things we're doing. So definitely appreciate that. But I also want to give appreciation to family, man. Like I said, we just get done with our family reunion, the Greenaway family reunion. And on the last day, they pulled out the family tree. And it's a blessing to be able to know that I know so much people, like not just like know of their name, but actually have met these people, have chilled with them. So it was a real dope experience to be able to sit there. A lot of my family members who I've known old and young and get to meet some of the new young ones and just be a part of a family oriented family and just be in that space and be able to enjoy and celebrate with them. So definitely give thanks.
All right. I want to give gratitude just to God, really, especially living on the island, having the opportunity to just pick fruits from random trees. I just robbed my father the other day. He had sugar apple. I don't think you probably never heard of this, but this sugar apple is usually green, but he have the purple one. I just got ripe today, so I am just giving thanks for living on an island where we just have fruits just bearing through the rich soils and just bearing freely for our pickings. If you watch this, he'll know where his sugar apple went because he was not there when I stole it. So, yes.
Hey, that's facts.
I definitely need to go out there.
It's a blessing to come home and just pick some kenep off the tree and eat some kenep, man. It's so long me eat a kenep, you check. So, that's facts for real. Give thanks for that. I give thanks for that. But Kendra, we appreciate you coming. We're going to make sure we drop your contact information in the descriptions for those who want to seek some credit repair and so that they can see the dope content that we're going to start having dropping on our platforms. You know what I'm saying? So definitely appreciate you coming out. And it's a joy since I've met you. Like I said, I think I've been 2 years now, maybe.
No, like a year.
I feel like it's been 2 years.
A year and a half. Oh, wait. No. It's been one.
It's almost going on 2 years now.
Last year, August.
Okay,
no.
I say August. Okay. I don't know, my time ain't find that much, man. Why I felt like it was 2 years ago?
August last year.
Oh, well, hey, we've been through so much. It feel like it's been 2 years
since COVID.
It feel like it's been 2 years for real. But it's been a pleasure being a part of your journey to a certain extent and just seeing you growing and learning so much different things, you know what I'm saying? And just all the ideas that you have coming out as well, that I'm sure the people are going to start to see. And I'm sure we're going to have you back just based off all the stuff you're doing. For sure, we have to have you back to talk on some of those stuff. But definitely thank you for coming through.
Thank you for having me. Have a good
Yes,
night,
ma'am.
everybody.
With that, peace over the heart. Much love.